Hey everybody, welcome back. Week 10 of the NFL's bearing down on us this week. We got the Carolina Panthers playing the Pittsburgh Steelers right now. Steelers are up early in this one, 14-7. Poker guy, how you doing out there on the East Coast?
I'm good. Right now the weather is 80 degrees and beautiful. I think in the next couple of days we're going to be dropping into the 50s, which is crazy for us. AC right now is pumping, rocking and rolling. So next couple of days is going to be bad for all the Floridians out there.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, whenever there's a cold day, we can go ahead and anecdotally throw that whole global warming crisis right out the window. It's like, oh no, it's like 50 today. It's not getting warmer. It was 50 degrees in Florida, so we don't have to worry about the ice caps melting, the coral reef dying, and the 75 billion people that we got cruising around on Mother Earth.
Dude, don't even get me started on conspiracy theory shit. I was just reading the other day, like oil rigs, what they did is they raised their like building protocol. They raised them up like 8 to 12 feet. So the science is there that says the waters are going to rise like X feet or whatever. And the oil rigs that they build now are to those specifications.
Oh, so the oil people are like, hey, we know we're pumping pumping greenhouse gases up in there, and we know we're going to raise these ocean levels, but we want to still be able to make a profit as the world is melting.
Totally.
Okay?
Totally.
That makes sense.
They're sad businessmen. I get it, but it's crazy, dude. Don't even get me started on that shit, man. My tinfoil hat is already tight enough.
It's already tight enough. I tell you what, don't get me started on Antonio Brown. We're going to go ahead. We'll get to the NFL. First, we're going to do a little bit of a, have you seen this? Have you heard about this? And the first thing, have you heard about this, is Antonio Brown strikes again. So last night, he didn't get arrested, but he got cited for going over 100 miles an hour in a 45 mile an hour zone. And then I read something right before we got on here that as he showed up to the stadium, there was a local news station that was like, hey, Antonio, hey, Antonio, you any comment on the, and you being a fucking asshole repeatedly and incessantly? And he flipped him the bird. He flipped him the bird like 3 times walking into the stadium. He doesn't give a shit. I don't know. He probably scored 4 touchdowns already. But
yeah, so no comment necessary. He just had to give him the finger, and then that's pretty much all the commentary you need. Confirm the guy's still an asshole. So
yeah, he's getting up there to be on that John Elway level of asshole. No. And that's not an asshole level you want to be on. That's a top tier asshole. That's the center of Dante's Inferno of assholes.
Isn't Antonio Brown the same guy that was throwing like blenders outside of his condo?
He was throwing lawn chairs trying to kill toddlers off the 14th story. Yeah, and he's also being sued by the owner of that complex for generally treating his apartment like a Led Zeppelin hotel room after John Bonham's gotten blackout drunk every night. So that's Antonio Brown. He's a terrible neighbor. He's a shitty teammate. He's a horrible driver, but he can catch a football. So he's going to be all right in the world.
But speaking of the Steelers, man, what's up with Le'Veon Bell? I was hearing something that he's like almost like not going to show up after week 10 because he's actually going to refranchised again or something. Talk me through that.
I don't really get all that. They're in a stare down. What's interesting is nobody seems to get that. ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports, has been reporting one thing for about an entire fucking year. And now they're coming out and they're saying something completely different. And what's interesting is the Steelers are basically saying they want Antonio Brown. They're saying, Le'Veon, we don't need you. Stay away. We don't want you. Because if he doesn't come back, that's just more money. The way the NFL salary cap works, if you don't spend it this year, you can roll that money over into your next year's cap. Because you've got to spend, the way the collective bargaining agreement goes, you've got to spend, I think, 95% of it or something. High 90%, 90% or above. You've got to spend at least that much money over a 5-year period or 10-year period, whatever it is, or you straight up have to just pay that money to the Players Association. So it's like, if you're not paying it for players on your team, you've got to pay that money out anyway, but you are able to roll that over from year to year. So the franchise tag this year was $14 million. So that's $14 million they're going to have next year to sign some other player, extend somebody, do whatever they want to with it. So if Le'Veon shows up, that's $6 million that he'd be owed this year. And they don't really need him. I mean, Connor's doing well, and they don't want the distraction. Here's the thing about Le'Veon Bell. I know you're not big on Twitter. I'm a little bit, more into Twitter than you are. He has started a disgusting trend. He's been sending out these tweets. I haven't read them because I'm not going to humor him. But he's putting everything upside down. All right? I don't know fucking how you do that on Twitter, but like everything is upside down. So it's like regular text, but upside down.
Does that mean he's watching a lot of Stranger Things, so everything's in the upside down world? Or does that mean he's trying to send like a cryptic message? The world is
I don't know. I don't know what the message is because I didn't read it.
Oh, okay.
But, that guy, he's a fucking clown. He may get the other thing too is he's out there. There's a bunch of stuff of him playing pickup basketball at the YMCA. Many people have gotten an injury playing pickup basketball against people that have no business being on a basketball court. So I don't understand if you're the guy who's trying to protect his long-term health why you're out there doing that, but it's not my money. It's not my ACL, so I don't give a shit.
To me, that sounds like a publicity thing. That doesn't really sound like he's going out to play, basketball. It's more like, hey, get a couple guys. We're all going to go down to the Y. I'm going to upload a shitty pixelated video up to Twitter and just fuel like the Le'Veon Bell conversation. Because at this point, he's just trying to maintain the conversation going and stay relevant. Because the Steelers don't really need him. I mean, they really don't. Connor's having a killer year. Just a testament to how good their system is. But it just seems a little fishy to me. Like he's just almost like a child, just having a temper tantrum, wants attention, but nobody wants to give him attention.
Everything about that guy's fishy, But while we're on the subject of basketball here, have you seen this? Have you heard about this? So I think everyone's seen and everyone's heard about Zion Williamson at this point. So Duke played their first game against Kentucky this week, and the whole world just shit their pants. They're shutting everything down. Duke's the Warriors of the NCAA. There's no way we should even play this season, give them the title. Let's all head out of the gyms and just reconvene back in 2019, 2020. But that's the nice thing about the NCAA. The best team's almost always going to win out and, with the NBA playoff format, but you never know when you're going to lay down a stinker and someone's going to sneak up on you. But everyone's going crazy. And I'm sure that there's no way that there's any cash stuffed in that guy's pockets to go play there. He's just there because, Mike Krzyzewski, he's a good guy. He's a really nice guy, and he's got LeBron's cell phone number.
When you say it like that, he's obviously getting, whatever, keys to like the yacht or keys to the house in Miami. NCAA is what it is. They really need to, change it from the top, but nothing's going to change. There's too much money involved. It's going to stay the same. But Zion Williamson, he's also got that other guy on the team, R.J. Barrett. Both of them combined for 61 points versus Kentucky, which is crazy. It's almost like Kevin Durant and LeBron James are on the same team. There's no fucking way they're going to lose any games.
They get to play a bunch of white dudes from Wisconsin in the tournament. So it's like, I don't know if that's going to work out very well for the people in Wisconsin. My question is, I don't know where Zion Williamson goes from here. All right. So he's 6'7", 6'8", something like that. He may not be that tall. But does he go? He's going one of two ways. He looks like a big eater to me. All right, he's not an absolute unit like that kicker that we saw, that 10-year-old who's just packing on the pounds, pancreas struggling, just to try and keep up and pump out all the insulin that he needs to get that sugar out of his blood. But I think this guy goes one of two ways. If you're calling it right now, is he going the LeBron James route where he gets his shit together, decides he's going to eat a few pieces of celery, or is he going the full what's that Barkley's name? Round mound of pound or whatever the hell Charles Barkley's name is. He's either going LeBron or he's going Barkley / Shaq. Because I saw some pictures of Shaq in his rookie year,
Yeah.
And god damn it, did that make me mad, because he was fucking yoked. Like, just absolutely yoked, ripped, athletic. And then, we all know what he became. I mean, he's one of the top 15, 20 players of all time, regardless, but he's the biggest wasted potential I could ever think of on the basketball court, despite his tremendous accomplishments. So I don't know. If I'm putting my money on it, though, you don't get to that weight at that young of an age and then not end up a little further. So I think he's going to get fucking fat.
I'll tell you what, if you find out who his agent is, if he's got an agent that is like a LeBron James agent, who's LeBron's got his own sports agency.
Whoa,
But,
hey, how dare you? He does not own a sports agency.
you know,
Only his business partner owns a sports agency, not him. He's got nothing to do with that.
well, his business partner might have a little bit of a say, and if they do, then who knows, man? He might get into, do the one and done, and what if the Lakers grab him? Well, the Lakers obviously won't, but
The Lakers won't be up there to get that pick, I don't think.
I don't know what the rankings are this year, but it'll probably be the Kings or something. Kings will fuck up royally, or I don't even know. Maybe the Bobcats. Who knows?
Yeah, we're talking Lakers. Luke Walton's on the hot seat. So I've always liked Luke Walton. He's a U of A grad. He overachieved. He's got a couple rings. You're riding the pine, shooting some corner threes for Kobe. But he's on the hot seat. Magic Johnson had a meeting with him. And, Magic's behind him. That's always the worst thing you can have happen, is to get your vote of confidence from anybody in the organization, because those are always followed by the firings. I'm sure Hugh Jackson got plenty of votes of confidence from up above, but he's out there on the street. Luke Walton, he's coaching for his life just 10 games into the season.
What if there's a coach available? What if they sign Ty Lue? What would you think about that?
That's gross. That's a very gross option. Ty Lue is making $15 million for doing nothing. There's not a whole lot of things that I'd rather do than make $15 million over 3 years for doing nothing. You couldn't talk me into a whole lot of anything if that's where I was on the pay scale for my relative contributions to society.
So you'd just sit at home, wear your pajamas, pull your dick out.
I'd be on the Le'Veon Bell off-season program, man. Ice cream and masturbation, 24/7. Call of Duty, be getting it done.
Call of Duty, getting it done. I love it.
Speaking of Call of Duty and getting it done, we talked a little bit earlier about my adventures trying to find my PlayStation 4 when it was actually already hooked up to my TV. I'm an idiot. But I got that thing cooking again, and the last couple days I have put in Black Ops 4. It hasn't been pretty. It hasn't been pretty. What's been going on to me on that? Pardon me?
Well, what's been going on? What's the issue?
Well, I've been getting noob stomped, so I've just been getting fucking crushed. I've never been that good at those video games. Lifetime on the Call of Duty, we went over a little bit on one of our little excerpts, your illustrious electronic military career. And you're better at video games than I am, which is, I guess that's a compliment. I don't know if that is a compliment or not. It's a backhanded one, if so.
I didn't need to hear it. I already knew it. I didn't need to hear it come from your mouth, but I knew.
Yeah, you knew. You've been shitting on me too, and I'm gonna say it hasn't hurt my feelings at all, because it has a little bit. It's like, you're like, oh, it's okay, man. Some people were just meant for zombies. Not everyone was meant for multiplayer. It's like, fuck you, man. Like, fuck you.
Thanks a bit, but that's not what I meant. What I meant was, when you play zombies, you need a team of 4. It's like a basketball team. Like, do you need 4 Kyrie Irvings? You're gonna get
kicked in the I'm the Zaza Pachulia of the group. I'm just coming in there to put my foot under people doing jump shots and spraying their ankles. Or I'm the guy that comes in. Like, have you seen Major League 2? Oh, you haven't. That's right. We went through this earlier. You are vastly behind on all your Major League knowledge. But one of the guys, Roger Dorn, he comes in and they just send him in there to get beaned by the pitcher. That's me. That's what I do. as far as the video games go, because
There's a sorry, go ahead. Go ahead.
I'm not the point man for any sort of thing going on when it comes to Call of Duty.
There's a guy in the NBA. He's definitely not in the league anymore, but his name is Brian Cardinal, and he was on the
Yeah, that's me, man. Gigantic white dude. Just do
yeah.
it. The janitor, man. Brian Cardinal, the janitor.
The best is my first introduction to Brian Cardinal, where I really knew like, wow, this guy is a legend. It was the finals. I think it was like game five, and they there was their coach's name for the Mavericks. What is his name?
Carlisle.
Rick Carlisle. He was like, go in, and his only job was to hard foul like Chris Bosh. And there's this one play where I think Chris Bosh is going up for like just a meager layup, and Brian Cardinal takes both hands and whacks the fuck. It's a complete flagrant too. Whacks the fuck out of Chris Bosh, and it was extremely disrespectful. But if you get an opportunity to watch that, it'll make your day. But that's you. Yeah. You go in the game, you're going in at zombies, and you're just taking that LMG, that light machine gun, and just mowing zombies down. You know, just like a fucking champion, dude. You're taking all the damage. You know, you're like the berserker,
I'm the tank. I'm the tank to get all the damage. It's kind of like when I was in the Marine Corps, when we would do urban house clearing. So when you clear houses, there's a whole bunch of techniques that you use. And every now and then, one of the things that you'll do, it's called running the rabbit. Okay. So typically you go into a room, you'll J hook or you'll cross, and then you'll go in with the intention of killing somebody in the room. But every now and again, particularly if it's a real hot spot, it's like you are the distraction. So it's like you bump the guy in front of you and you're like, run the rabbit. And then that guy's only job is to run in there really quick, but to run fast enough to not get shot, but draw fire so he can pop up. And the next guy swings in behind him and blows the fucking head off whatever terrorist is hiding in the room. So that's me when it comes to Call of Duty. Because when I'm playing, I gotta, it sucks because I gotta keep the sensitivity low. Because if on my controller, because if I don't, I mean, I'm swinging all over the place, man. Like I can't zero in on anybody.
You're a 9-year-old white woman with like 3 glasses of wine, no dexterity, just all over the place.
Yeah, I'm coming straight off the set of, one of those housewives shows after a long night drinking wine and causing trouble and then settling down. I've got all the dexterity of those people when it comes to playing Call of Duty. But then I don't have the sensitivity up high enough so I can't whip around and do what I need to do. So I'm caught in this no man's land. And I'm trying to say to myself, I'm trying to justify everything at this point. So like career-wise, I can pull out my old stats if I needed to. But I'm typically I like to play domination. I like to play kill confirmed. Those are my 2 favorite game types. And I'm usually sitting at about 0.8 to 0.85 kill to death ratio. All right. So it's it's okay. Right now I'm at a solid 0.65. Right? So that's where I'm at. I was at 0.7 starting the day. And one of the things that you learn is playing video games in the morning is not a good idea. It's not a good idea because that is for people that have fucking nothing better to do in their life than sit around and play video games. I got up, I worked out a little bit. I had to wait for some plumber to come over. He fixed his pipe, but I didn't think that he really fixed it very well. So I sprayed it with 6 coats of Flex Seal after he left, and I was like, I know how to do it. I know how to hold things in there. Now I'm going to go make a boat out of a screen door and then go play some more Call of Duty. So I settled into that, and I caught quite the whooping in the morning and then got back on in the afternoon and had a little bit better time of it. Back when you get some more noobs coming home from after school, losers like me playing after work. But that morning crowd is a rough fucking crowd.
I feel like that morning crowd too is people that they dreamed about Call of Duty all night long. They woke up and let's say they have class at 10 or they got to drive the kids to work at or the kids to school at 9. They're up at 7 in the morning or let's say 8 a.m., 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time for you. whatever 6 a.m., 7 a.m. You get that little combination where you're just waking up and you're catching like an adult with like two kids on the tail end of his morning who's jacked up on coffee and he just needs to get his kills in, right? So you're waking up, your hands are arthritic, you're old as fuck, you can't see, you don't even have your glasses on, fucking half asleep. You're just like it's feasting time. You ain't getting nowhere, you know?
I'm the what it is like what I think it is I was playing like basically what was it like 8 to 10 o'clock Pacific time. So I mean that's whatever 10 to 12, 11 to 12, 11 to 1. Excuse me,
That's
East Coast time.
you're getting your
Right.
ass kicked around then?
Yeah. So who I think I'm playing is a bunch of college kids that are just jacked up on Adderall, like just skipping class, fucking me up. And I'm basically the goat that's tied to that stake in the original Jurassic Park movie. Like
Sure.
that's who I am walking out there, when I turn my PlayStation on. It doesn't feel good. Like I don't like it. But then I convince myself, oh man, you're just not familiar with the levels. It's gonna take a while to shake the rust off or whatever it is, but I am not shaking any rust off yet.
Here's what it is. We're in November, so Rome wasn't built in a day. So you're in November right now. There's a certain time of year that me as a gamer, I've been a gamer for a long time. It's called hunting season. And hunting season is around December 25th to like the end of January. And what that is you're getting the Christmas noobs. You're getting the 13-year-old Timmy who's waking up in the morning and he's popping in Call of Duty, never played a first person shooter in his life, saw it on YouTube, and that's hunting season because you now have the experience and the knowledge of how to stomp noobs. Just forget it. You get your practice in now. You watch the tape. You do the work. You watch the all 22. And then once December 25th, 26th comes around, it's over. You're going to be stomping noobs. You'll be at a 1.2 KD in no time.
I love the pep talk there. I love the pep talk. That's top notch. That's never gonna happen. Talking about people that are getting in trouble. Have you seen this? Have you heard about this? Nikola Jokic, not going to work here anymore. Whoever that guy is, that big tall dude from the Denver Nuggets. So he got fined $25,000. And, I was watching one of these ESPN talking head shows, and they're like, oh, he got fined that for, anti-gay remarks. So I don't know if we remember back in, Kobe caught a little bit of flack back in the day, called someone the F word. And he was like, okay, yeah, all right, I get that. But this Jokic guy, we're gonna go ahead and I'm gonna say this word because it's maybe incendiary to our 3 listeners out there. Excuse me, actually we're actually gaining some steam here. But anyhow, the guys in Sweden, plug your ears. This may be too much for you.
These guys are real sensitive too, so you might want to spell it out before you say it.
Yeah. He said he's talking about Wendell Carter, who's a rookie for the Bulls, and he said he's trying to be funny. I thought he was actually pretty funny. He's like, no homo. He's longer than you'd expect.
It's awesome.
Right? Which I don't think he intended it that way, but that could actually be a double entendre, as far as homosexual innuendo, and then talking about that dude's dick being really big. So it could be, there's a great old George Carlin joke where he's like, if I had a gay restaurant, he'd name it the Mouthful, right? He's like, that's a triple pun. You try to make that up. But he got fined $25,000 for that. And that's the most, that's the most 2018 fine of the year.
That's stupid. To me, that's like I don't know. I feel like you should be able to make fun of people for pretty much anything. I feel like everything is fair game. If you as a heterosexual male can't talk about other men's penises, or then what's life about?
You can't make a dick joke anymore. Dick jokes are off the table.
They you know who Mitch Hedberg is? He's a comedian.
Absolutely. He is a legend. Funny side note about Mitch Hedberg before you get into that. I actually always remember when Mitch Hedberg, the month that Mitch Hedberg died. He died in April of, oh man, I want to say 2002 or 2003 maybe, but early 2000s. I was in college, and I remember that because I was actually in a gambling pool for when that Pope John Paul was going to die. And he died in April. I didn't win it, but I just remember he died the same month that Mitch Hedberg died. So, R.I.P. Mitch, R.I.P. Popester.
Fucked up pool. But going back to which one was that? Was that Pope? Was that the guy that looked like the Emperor from Star Wars, or the guy that looked a bit like the everybody's nice grandpa?
Nice grandpa. So he was the nice grandpa before the Star Wars Emperor that was very aggressive about covering up for all the child molestation people. Ratzinger was that guy's name. I don't remember his Pope name, but he was like his bishop or cardinal name was Ratzinger. And that's a menacing name for an individual who's involved in a pedophilia cover-up scam.
Yeah, it's a very ominous name. Kind of like the guy from Heat. What's his name? Waingro. It's kind of like
yeah, Waingro. What a fucking great movie. I watched Heat just a couple months ago. That movie changes your life every time you watch it. You're like, all right, man. I'm going to start living my life where I can drop anything in 30 seconds flat. I got too much obligation.
That movie deserved its own pod. But going back, let's rewind. Going back to Mitch Hedberg, he's got a bit where he's talking about homosexuality, and he's like probably the most hardcore thing. I forget the wording, but he's like the most hardcore thing to do is like you as a man. It's like to rustle up like another dude, like hold him down and fuck him. That's like the most hardcore shit ever. And fucking just how he said it, it cracked me up because just the imagery, I guess, I just imagine like just this thing, like this guy running away and this guy just grabbing him, and then just submitting him, kind of like a dog does at the dog park, like the golden retriever jumps on like the pit bull, and then some sand. I don't know, just a funny imagery, and he had a great delivery. So R.I.P. Mitch.
Yeah, there's nothing soft about any of that. The other thing to admire about all homosexuals is like they tend to stay in very good shape. All right, I tend to be walking around looking good. Like you as a like you look in the mirror, you want to aspire to look good enough that a gay guy would think that you looked good, because women and men can kind of fool themselves into thinking they're like, oh, this isn't attainable, this is not attainable. It's like, no. Like a gay guy could look at some other dude and be like, this is bullshit, man. Like he could do better than that. Like, he's really letting himself down. Where like you can get away with shit between the sexes that you can't get away with, within them.
That's an interesting perspective. I don't know why, but I immediately gravitated to when you said about looking in the mirror and looking good, and about homosexuality, making it sound looking good or whatever. I just immediately thought of Silence of the Lambs, where the guy tucks in his dick and he's got the mangina and he looks in the mirror.
Whoa, mangina. You can't say that. That's transphobic. That's like strike 5 against you for being transphobic on this podcast.
Why is that transphobic?
Because everything's transphobic in 2018. All right, you can't say mangina. You got to use like transgina or foxykingina or
no, mangina is just, I guess, let me reiterate that, where I literally take my dick and my balls and I just tuck them in between my legs. Almost like if you look at me from behind, I'm doing the goat. But if you look at me from the front, I've got what appears to be a vagina. And you look at yourself in the mirror, kind of like that dude, and says,
yeah,
would you fuck me?
No, that's that they do that in have you ever seen the movie Club Dread? It's the Super Troopers guys.
I never saw it, but I know it's I know the plot. I kind of caught a tail end of it on TBS one time, and it looked stupid.
Yeah, somebody does that. The not Rabbit, but the redheaded guy. He does that maneuver in that movie. Nice. After telling a campfire story. But the goat thing from the movie Waiting, we always called that the fruit basket. If you catch that from the back end of things, that's the old fruit basket right there. So
that's a good one. I never called it the fruit basket. You ever done the brains to somebody? You ever whipped out your fucking ball sack and just squeezed it real hard so it looks like a fucking pair of brains? You ever done that?
No, but I was in a fraternity, so there are a couple people, not my testicles involved, but there are a couple people that got the old Arabian sunglasses laid on them after a long night of drinking. Our general rule was, so this is how we determined, can you fuck with this person? It is, do they have their shoes on? Right. So if you pass out with your shoes on, it was a very arbitrary rule, but for whatever reason, that was the code. That was what we wanted to go by. It was like,
Great rule.
yeah, if you passed out with your shoes on, motherfucker, you better have some friends in the house. If you got your shoes off, like, and that was how you could tell, like, if somebody, those are the real moments where you find out if your friends are your friends. Like, if you pass out and your friends are going to let people, like, so here's various things that happen. So people got smurfed, you know, where you just take Sharpies and you paint the motherfuckers blue. And then, you know, you get tuxedoed. So, you know, you put a mustache on them and draw some dicks on their face. And then you draw a tuxedo and Sharpie all over them, and other things like that. But those are the moments where you find out, do I actually have any real friends? Because, like, drunk or not, like, I'm not going to let somebody paint your ass blue, or I'm not going to let them put their nuts on your face, like, if you're actually my friend. Like, if I'm sitting there pounding schlitzes and drinking shots of Popov, thinking that it's hilarious that you're getting beanbagged in the middle of the night, like, I'm not actually your friend. Like, I'm not your friend at that point.
Oh God, I remember this one kid. Spoiler alert: he didn't have any friends. He passed out, and he was like lying face down, no shirt, and we drew all on his back, nowhere else. So if he looked in the mirror, he was good. But we made sure to throw his shirt in the trash, or he lost his shirt. But we covered his back with a Sharpie. Just, you know, drew some dicks, some fuck me here, insert here, just all kinds of goofy shit. And this was back in high school. So he went home, and he's sitting there, and he's got to talk to his parents who are waiting for him. And so he gets home, and he's sitting there, and they're like, "Hey, how was your night?" He's like, "Oh, it was great, you know, whatever he said. The library was fun. I learned a lot about geography." And they're like, "Oh, okay." So, he ended up getting caught, and he was pissed as fuck to everybody. And then he soon realized that he didn't have any friends, but it was something that all of us loved, and we always cracked up about, because this dude just had dicks all over his back, and his parents were just shaking their heads in disgust. But
Yeah, you're gonna find out real quick who your friends are when you go through tough times. Absolutely. Last thing to talk about here before we get going on this NFL slate. As I was recording some various things on my DVR, I ran into a live episode of Dr. Oz. Now, you're familiar with Dr. Oz, correct?
yeah, he's a scam artist. He's like Dr. Phil, but with a medical degree.
Yeah, you got to put air quotes around that medical degree at this point, right? I guess technically he earned it, but he doesn't use it anymore because what he was doing, was he was taking a team and swabbing restrooms. So, like, you know, he was taking like cotton swabs and swabbing like the toilet paper holder of restrooms and like the sinks and shit and all this other stuff. And then he was running drug tests on these things. And what he was saying is, are public restrooms the new drug dens, or are they going to be the new drug dens? And I'll tell you where his experiment failed. So he got a bunch of this stuff, and he put them in these little drug tests, and he's like, "Oh man, there's traces of opiates here." You know, he goes into Starbucks. He didn't call it Starbucks. He calls it like the unisex bathroom at a coffee shop. He's like, "You won't believe what we found in there." I don't know what he found in there. I didn't stay tuned for it, because right before that, he said, "And we swabbed this public park bathroom." And what would you guess that he found in there?
I don't know.
Yeah, semen, heroin, meth, all that sort of stuff. And he found nothing in there. It's like, all right, you've just completely invalidated all your responses, because nowhere do people like to get more high than the shooting gallery that is a public park bathroom.
So what was his thing? He was just trying to scare people. What was he doing?
I
I'm a
don't know.
little
I
confused.
guess he's trying to let people know that, like, hey, if there's somebody taking time in the bathroom, they're probably busting lines of coke and not struggling with yesterday's Taco Bell meal. Like that's probably what they're doing. And in actuality, it's probably both. I mean, that's how you kind of
That's
keep everything together.
in somebody's life. That's such a big deal. Like you and me are shooting the shit right now and not thinking about the dangers of public restrooms. But there's people out there that are in bed right now, face up, like holding their comforter ever so tightly, and are like, "Oh my god, I am so afraid of these public bathrooms." Like there's people out there that are just frightened right now. It's crazy, man.
Don't
It's
get me
wrong.
wrong, there are public bathrooms to be afraid of. I went out to, on St. Patrick's Day in New York City one year, and I ran into, and here's the thing, I've been to war. I have crapped in the strangest, most disgusting of places, and I never seen anything more terrifying than this one bathroom in the basement of one of these New York City bars. Like those old buildings, it was like being in an airplane bathroom, but you're pretty sure that there are rats everywhere. Like it was gnarly. It was quite gnarly.
Speaking of gnar, and you know me, I love poop stories. The one of the craziest places I've ever took a shit in is there was like I went to like Central America to go on like a surf trip, and I'm there, and there's a surf spot that's really good. I was telling you earlier about it. Same place, and there's an abandoned building there, and there's nothing there. It's like a just pavement, no ceiling, just walls. And I walked up to the locals, and in my broken Spanish, I'm like, "Hey, essay, bro, dog, where are the bathrooms?" And they laughed, and they go, "Right there, brother." And I'm like, oh, "Okay." So I kind of walk over there, and I'm like, "Oh my god, people are going into this place and shitting on concrete, and then walking out." And it was just like just piles of just dried what I thought was just like mud, but it wasn't mud. It was just shit, like dried up shit. Pretty disgusting, pretty gnarly. Not an image I wanna illustrate. So on
Very
that note,
gross. Sometimes talking about shitting in strange places, I've shit in many, many strange places. And when you're overseas and you're doing a lot of, so we did a lot of foot patrols and a lot of missions. You're just walking around for long periods of time over in Iraq. And one of the things that'll happen, so you eat your own food, but there's also local food that you'll sometimes eat. So they have a lot of, they're called kebabs. It's like goat or lamb or something. I don't know, but they're pretty decent. So what you do is you eat those things and then cross your fingers, because a lot of times what happens is it doesn't turn out real well for you, and you got to take some emergency shits.
mm,
And the number one thing that you got to think and do, and one of my buddies, we were, we were patrolling. We took up in this house. You knock on somebody's door and you're like, hey, can we come in? But it's not really, can we come in? It's, yo, bitch, we're coming in. So get the fuck out of our way. We're going to go sit up on the roof and watch for bad guys for a little while. You're going to give us some tea, some delicious bread, and then we're all going to leave as friends. And then you're going to curse us because it's 2 a.m. and you're fucking, you wish anything but the fact that we were there. But we're not going to go sit out in the jungle. That's a desert country mostly, but we were right along the Euphrates. We're not going to go sit out in the fucking palm groves at 2 a.m. We're going to come hang out at your house, put two dudes up on the roof, keep eyes on things, and then we're all going to kind of hang out in here in the warmth. But anyhow, we're midday. We're taking up security in one of these houses, and my buddy, he's having an issue. So what he does is we wear these little shorts. They're called silkies, and most of the time, the decision that you have to make. So everyone's basically got a knife on them or something. Everyone's carrying around. Somebody's got a knife on them. Usually, you got it not to kill bad guys, but to open stuff up, do whatever you need to do. You got a gun for killing bad guys. You don't need a knife for that. So the decision you usually have to make when you got to take an emergency shit is which article of clothing are you going to sacrifice to wipe your ass with? So it's that's really what it goes is you do one of two things. You take your shit And then you either go for the Zeke Elliott crop top, like underneath your fucking uniform. So you wear like a little green t-shirt underneath your stuff. So you either cut that off like crop top style, like your Zeke running around beating up girls, or you cut the top of your socks off. So you wear like big socks. He did the third option, which I hadn't seen before, where he basically took his underwear off, but it wasn't underwear. It was like little silky shorts. And he basically wiped his ass with his underwear and then just left them behind in these people's bathroom because they don't use toilet paper over there, right? They use like the 3 seashells or whatever it is. I don't know what the system they got going on is, but they got a little water jug. And that's one of the reasons why it can be offensive to do things with, I think, your left hand or something, or your right hand. I don't know. But they're straight up just wiping their asses with their hands and then just kind of rinsing them off with tap water. No soap at all. And then going from there, like throughout the day. So I don't know why everyone's getting sick over there. I don't know why that would be why that would be the case. But yeah, I mean, tough times.
We're not going to go into them, but it's just how funny is it sometimes? Like I'll be like right now, I just had my hand down my crotch. I wasn't jerking off to your voice. I was just, scratching my nuts. I didn't wash my hands. I didn't put on Lysol, Purell, anything. And I completely forgot about it, right? So I'm going to go hang out right now. Let's say after I'm going to go out, for a beer or whatever. I'm going to shake hands with people.
Yeah.
My ball grease is all over it, so I'm spreading.
That's the first thing I do when I get to the store. I went to Walmart earlier today to pick up a few things, and the first thing I do is look for those little fucking security wipes or those little handy wipes. Yeah. Like, my God, I hope they've got these things here, because some little baby was probably just sitting in this cart, shitting its pants, and then the mom takes it out of there and changes it on the fucking dinner table at McDonald's. And then just that germs everywhere, man. You go drive yourself crazy thinking about those things.
Yeah, we're fucking disgusting, dude. Just not just you and me, but people in general are fucking gross.
People in general, and you and me very specifically. All right, let's go ahead. Let's get to it here. You've seen all that. You've heard about that. Let's go ahead. Let's pick these games. We're going to start cruising through these. Not my favorite week of the NFL coming up, but we'll get on the good ones. We'll cruise through the bad ones. Steelers are giving it to the Panthers right now, 31-14. It's not even halftime yet. So Antonio Brown speeding down the field. He went 100 miles an hour, and he's got 100 yards already in the first half. So there's a reason he's not getting suspended. They're going to, quote, handle that internally, I would assume, as far as the Steelers go on that one. So Lions at the Bears. Over-under is 44. Bears are 6.5-point favorites at home. Matt Patricia's feeling the heat already year one. Mitch Trubisky, I'm not letting you off the hook. Matt Nagy, early candidate for Coach of the Year, particularly Rookie Coach of the Year. He's definitely beating out John Gruden for that award at this point. I don't know who the other candidates are, but I don't think John Gruden's going to win that thing. If I'm looking at this game, the Bears, they got me last week, but I don't put that on them. I put that on the Bills. I will not. I'm calling it right now, and I'm a madman to do it again. I'm not putting any more money on Bills games this year. If I'm looking at this game, my money's on the Bears -6.5.
I'm with you there. I'm going to take the Bears. I don't believe in Jim Bob Cooter. Sorry. But going back to what you're saying about the Bills, man, there's a certain quarterback that just got cut that might need a job coming up. And there's a certain team out there that rhymes with the Schmuffalo Schmills that is probably looking for a quarterback. I don't know if you know who I'm talking about or not.
I don't. Who got cut?
Sam Bradford.
That's right. Yeah, okay. Yeah, no, he's like, his knees are bone on bone at this point. Like, he's making Nick Foles look like a fucking Olympic sprinter as far as Sam Bradford goes. He can barely move, and I think that's why they cut him. But that guy is definitely the Kaiser Soze of the NFL, because he got like $150 or $170 million in career earnings. And I think he's only won like 35 games over his entire career. So good for you, Sam. You know how to
throwing money at your agent, tipping that guy.
Yeah, get that guy an extra sports car come Christmas. He's fucking earned it for you. So who you got here? You got the Bears, you got the
I'll
Lions.
take the Bears with you. The Lions have been terrible. The Bears have been the surprise team this season, so um, they're steamrolling. Bears are
You
going
got
to
the
take this.
Bears, I got the Bears. Where you at, Coin? Hey, Coin's with us. That's smart money. Smart money. Get the Bitcoins out and get them on the Bears. Moving on to the next game, Redskins at the Buccaneers. Buccaneers 3-point favorites at home. Despite being only 3-5, Redskins 5-3. Over-unders at 51. This is really a tale of two quarterbacks. And do you believe in Ryan Fitzpatrick, the bearded journeyman, more than you do Alex Smith, the non-bearded journeyman? And Vegas is saying, hey, these teams are pretty even, and they like the Bucs at home. Redskins had a bad week last week. They need to commit to Peterson early, give him his carries. It's going to be rough, though, because their offensive line is in tatters. And as much as I believe in AP, I equally as much or less so believe in Alex Smith and Jay Gruden. It's not too late. We may have got ahead of ourselves. It's not too late to maybe see Jay Gruden in a Raiders uniform or a Raiders visor or whatever the fuck he's going to be wearing come 2019.
If they win this game, Redskins going to be 6-3. They're going to be top of the NFC East. That is weird because let's be honest, the Buccaneers are not coming out on top. Ryan Fitzpatrick, he's going to throw some interceptions. He's not going to see a couple people, and it's going to be a Redskins win. On top of that, the Redskins D, people have been all up their dick, all up their asses. So I think this week they're going to be able to force some turnovers, and I think the Buccaneers are going to shit their pants. I'm going to
So
take
you got the Redskins +3. I'm going to go against you here. For whatever reason, I'm feeling it. I like Fitzpatrick at home. I don't like the Redskins' offensive line situation. They get behind early again. I think we got a repeat of last week, and we may see a big win for the Buccaneers. Coin, he's in agreement with me. That's 2-1. So, we're going to go ahead and say that, keep the Bitcoins. I don't know what other electronic digital non-currencies out there, like whatever other shit is like not actually real money.
Ethereum. There's Ethereum. That's the big one. Ethereum, Bitcoin. There's another one, Bitcoin Gold. I don't know. It doesn't matter because it's all pretend because you can't withdraw it anyways. So it doesn't really matter. At this point, it's just bullshit.
If you can't buy a cheeseburger with it, it's not money, okay? That's the bottom line. Can you exchange that for a fucking cheeseburger at McDonald's? Then it's not real money yet, okay? I can't exchange the money that I have in my offline or my offshore betting account, of which there is 35% more of it this week than there was last week, despite the Packers and the Cowboys getting fucking waxed at the end of it. That was a disappointing end to a very good weekend. But, you can't spend it. I can't spend any of that. I'm never going to get that back. And you're never going to be able to spend that Bitcoin on a McDonald's hamburger. At least as far as much as I understand Bitcoin, which is very little.
Speaking of never going to get it, let's talk Patriots Titans. Titans, they're never going to get it. They're not beating Tom Brady. It ain't happening. Titans don't have a home field advantage. They're in fucking Nashville, for God's sakes. Nobody wants to go see this game anyways. And plus, there's going to be a cold front, so everybody's going to be indoors with their furnaces or whatever the fuck a furnace is. And you see what I did there? What a furnace is.
I bought a new furnace this week, and I told you what a furnace was. So now you're educated, and you're flaunting that new knowledge to all of our listeners.
A furnace heats your house. For all those listeners that don't know what that is, it heats and warms up your home. So
for the two people that didn't fucking know that already, now you know. Now more you know, Rainbow, and now you're better educated. Here's the thing with this game. This is another one of these Patriots versus the fake Patriots games where you got Bill Belichick versus some guy who used to play for him or work for him. A lot of cast-offs from the Patriots in the Tennessee area, just like there's in general, Tennessee is a place for human cast-offs to congregate, for the scum of the earth to kind of mingle with each other and become very terrible human beings collectively. So I'm always rooting for the Titans to lose. I'm always rooting for anyone in Tennessee to fall on hard times. You can go fuck yourselves. Tennessee Titans and Volunteer fans, but specifically Volunteer fans. You're basically one and the same in my book. Now, if I'm looking at this game, the thing that's most hilarious to me is the Bill Belichick was right. Remember when everyone was talking about they lost the Super Bowl because they benched Malcolm Butler? It turns out Bill Belichick was just a year ahead of the curve when it comes to Malcolm Butler can't play football, because at least he didn't give him $30 million and then bench him, because I'm pretty sure he got benched by the Titans last week. That was a trash pickup. Do not ever sign a player that Bill Belichick casts away.
That's a good point. Even DeMarco Murray, remember when everybody was on DeMarco Murray's dick and he went there and produced like negative yardage and he got benched like week 3? That's what you get.
I mean, that's what you get. Why would you ever invest in an aging running back? That's common sense. It's common sense,
well,
people.
Again, that's my conspiracy theory. Is like there's certain teams where, like, all of the owners, they're in a room circle jerking each other, drinking blood, and they're all jerking each other off, and they're saying like, hey, there's a couple teams we need to dump these contracts on, and Titans are one of those teams. The Dolphins are one of those teams. Arizona's got to be one of those teams. They're 2-6 for God's sakes. But yeah, I definitely think that there are teams that are out there that exist to kind of like dump contracts, like contract landfills, and the Tennessee Titans are one of those teams.
I think Cardinals' problem is more Steve Kimes getting all liquored up before and making trades before he gets behind the wheel of a car and gets another DUI. If we're gonna go ahead and pick this game, 6.5-point underdogs. The Titans are at home. 46.5 is the over. I like the over on that, and I really like the Patriots. It's going to be, I don't think it's a 2-touchdown game, but it's just going to be one of those games that stays close, and the Pats have more at the end than the Titans do.
I agree. I'm definitely going to take the Patriots here.
So we're both on the Patriots. Coin, he doesn't believe in decency. He doesn't believe in decorum. So he's going to be rooting for the Titans this weekend with all the rest of the horrible human beings in the state of Tennessee. Moving on to Cardinals at the Chiefs. This is going to be a beatdown. This is 16.5-point favorites at home over the Cardinals. Over-unders 49.5. Patty Mahomes versus Josh Rosen. And this is the grudge match that we've been waiting for all year long. Pat, I used to buy weed from that guy Mahomes, versus Josh, I ratted out Pat Mahomes for selling weed Rosen.
This is a good one. This is that guy scratched my Bentley. This is one of those battles, and I want to stay the fuck away from it when it comes to gambling, because that spread is a weird spread. I do not like it. 16.5, no thank you.
That's a big one. The over-under there is what you want. The Chiefs' defense is terrible. They may put up 40 on their own. They'll give a few away. Gotta love the over in that game. Josh Rosen
Really?
hanging out in the bleachers with Jeremy Piven, trying to find a way to get Patty Mahomes on ice. Not going to work. Andy Reid's got the solutions, just like Vince Vaughn and Will Ferrell did. And they're going to get it done. Like I said, against the spread, man, I'll take the Chiefs if I got a bet on this thing. I'm not putting money on that, though. It's too big of a nut to lay.
Yeah, no, I'm not putting any money on it, but I'm waiting for a atomic bomb. It's going to be the Pat Mahomes atomic bomb coming in, and it's going to be August 6, 1945 all over again. Sorry to the Japanese listener, but you guys are getting fucked up. Cardinals are getting smashed, but I definitely don't want to put any money on it.
It may be more like August 9th, just because the Cardinals have to know what's coming. Like, they've seen it. They've seen the destruction. And then at the end of this, they may turn in all their shoulder pads and everything and be like, all right, we're done with this. All right, we're done. We're done fighting here. Let's go ahead and end this madness. Talking about madness. This is mad. We're going right through this. I'm just going to pick this thing. Bills at Jets. Jets 7-point favorites. Over-unders 36.5. Gross. God damn it, Scott Hansen. I'm coming at you on Twitter. You try and show me any of this bullshit. I'll take the Jets -7.
I'm waiting for the Sam Bradford signing. And if Sam Bradford does, in fact, suit up and wear that glorious white, blue, and red, I'm going to take the Bills here. But until then, I'll take the Jets.
We got a Josh McCown versus Nate Peterman game. And the only fun thing about this game is just the Peterman watch. What like fraction of a Peterman is he going to hit? Is he going full Peterman again? We'll see. He went 3 Peterman last week, which is pretty impressive. And we'll see if he can get there again. Where you at, Coin? Coin on the Jets. Let's move on real quick. Let's get away from that. That's disgusting. Saints, the Bengals. Over-under is 54. Bengals, 5.5-point dogs at home. Andy Dalton's having a decent year, but he's not having a Drew Brees year. You wonder about a letdown game here for the Saints.
Why?
They had that big game against the Rams. They're getting all hyped for that. And then they got to go into what's presumably going to be a very dreary Ohio morning. And then, there's not a lot of juice in those stadiums. It seems to suck the energy out of everything. We're going to have 2 Ohio morning games going on at the same time. Gross. But, 5.5. Saints are rolling. One of the best things I saw was Sean Payton came out after that Michael Thomas touchdown pass where he pulled out the cell phone, which was excellent. Keep doing that. I don't care about the penalties because I'm not a Saints fan. I just want to see amazing touchdown celebrations, and that was great. Yeah, there was also somebody from the Titans did a TO celebration after an interception, I think.
Was it the Titans?
Yeah, it was the Titans on Monday night. One of the defensive backs he ran to the star and did the TO air crucifix on top of the star.
Yeah, that was a bullshit showing though by the Cowboys. There was no retaliation. It was like one guy did like a pussy like shove where like he kind of like nudged the shoulder with one hand and the other hand kind of like pushed air. It was a really stupid retaliation. Just goes to show you the attitude in that locker room. Yeah,
it's a very neutered locker room, taken after their leader, Jason Garrett. But part of that, too, with that showing was even when T.O. did it, if we remember back, T.O. did it twice. He got away with it the first time. The second time, George Teague fucking steamrolled him. The guy from the Titans that did it, he thought he was going to get steamrolled. And it was funny after the game, Jerry Jones, the Donald Trump of the NFL, for better or for worse. We're not political people here. We're not going to get in any of that. But
we're all pink on the inside.
Yeah, we're all pink on the inside, everybody. Don't forget that. Don't ever forget that. He was very indignant about that. It was like, he was very disrespectful. You don't do that to the star, man. He's like, you don't disrespect the star like that. It's like, dude, he's not Jay Novacek. He's not Daryl Johnston. He doesn't have any loyalty to the star. He made a play. He's talking shit. I love it. Keep it coming.
Yeah, there's not enough of that, honestly. I want to see more fights.
More fights, more celebrations. I want it to be like
the Bengals in this game. You're going to go after – you're taking the Bengals, it sounds like.
No, I'm not taking them. I'm just saying you got to be concerned about a letdown, but not concerned enough to put your money on Andy Dalton.
You do know that they have Des Bryant now, right?
Yeah, I do know that, and that's not that has actually probably pushed the spread from 7.5 to 5.5. So it's probably 2 points in favor of the Bengals.
Okay, Skip Bayless. Okay, you don't like Des Bryant, fine, but I think Des Bryant's gonna have a good showing, dude. He's gonna have a feasting frenzy against those CB2s. So I think the Saints are gonna kick the shit out of the Bengals. I'm taking the Saints.
I don't dislike Des Bryant. I loved all the shade he threw at the Cowboys when he left, so I like Des Bryant. I just feel like he's washed, and we'll find out. I guess Sean Payton probably knows more about football than I do, so if he saw enough out of Dez to sign him to a contract, we'll see how that goes.
He's paying him dirt, too. He's paying him like $600,000. He's paying him nothing. He's on the Carmelo Anthony payroll. Like, he's getting paid fucking magical beads or, like, whatever the fuck, like silk gowns or something. Who knows?
He's getting paid like when I went to spring break in college. We went out. We were running low on money. We were running low on cash. We had our debit cards with us, but we didn't want to get stuck up, held up at the ATM and lose our life savings or, get everything electronically stolen from us. So we were really trying to string, with the amount of cash we had, just kind of, ease it through the rest of the thing. And when we went to this thing and we were like, hey, man, what do we got to do to get in here and drink for free? And they gave us a bunch of flyers to go hand out. And they were like, hey, man, if you can get X amount of people in here, with your coupon code, at checkout, coupon code Bobby, if you can get this many people in here, you guys can come in and drink for free. And we did that. We ended up at a pretty sweet wet t-shirt contest. It was a hell of a time. But then it was like one of those things where the band plays and then they end up drinking so much liquor that they get kicked out. But instead of the band, it was just two assholes, like two assholes getting kicked out of a bar for drinking too much free liquor. But that's kind of what's going on with the Saints and the Bengals. I'm on the Saints here, even taking giving the 5.5.
I think the Saints are going to take this, and I think the Saints are going to come out 8-1, and then ESPN is going to have to just admit it that the Saints are number one. I want Drew Brees to win too, man. Come on. That guy's old as fuck, old as dirt. That thing is not contagious. It's confirmed. I want him to win. Give him another ring so he can retire.
Yeah, I saw something on Twitter. He's got like 4 kids, and none of them have that thing on their face. So it's not contagious and it's not congenital. So we don't need to worry about that. You don't need to put gloves on before you shake Drew Brees' hand. You may need to put gloves on. You may need to put gloves on before you shake any of the Browns' hands. They're on their way to the third. They're going to get a third head coach before the end of the year is over. This Greg Williams experiment is not going to last very long. Baker Mayfield, he's having some ups and downs as a rookie. Matty Ryan, man, he's having a heck of a year, not getting the credit. Julio Jones caught that first touchdown pass last week. This is my favorite bet of the week. Over-under is 50.5, plus 6.5. The Browns are 6.5-point dogs at home. I fucking love the Falcons in this one. I've been on the Falcons for the last 3 weeks. They're going to keep rolling. I think they're going to smash the Browns.
That's interesting, but I like your take. You've been right about them. They're, like you said, the best 1-4 team in the history of NFL. They're coming in at 4-4, and I think they're going to have a couple of tough games coming up here, so we're going to find out for sure. The Browns is not that game. So they are going to kick it. Yeah, so they're in fact going to kick the shit out of the Browns. They got all this momentum coming. I don't want to bet on the over, but definitely the spread. I definitely think the Falcons will destroy the Browns.
So, I mean, this was my Nostradamus. When they were 1-4, I said, don't count these motherfuckers out. I was like, they're going to be 6-4 heading into New Orleans at the end of November. I think was that Thanksgiving they're playing? November 22nd? I don't know when Thanksgiving is. That may be Thanksgiving
22nd.
game.
Yeah, it's the 22nd.
So they're going to play that Thanksgiving game at New Orleans late. They're going to beat Cleveland. They're going to beat Dallas. And then that's going to be a big game for them. If they beat New Orleans, they may be playoff bound. We may get 3 teams from the NFC South into the playoffs this year.
It looks like Carolina's going to lose this game tonight. Spoiler alert. So they're going to come in 6-3 for the end of the week. And then Atlanta's going to win, so they're going to be 5-4. So they're going to be 1 game behind. That's devastatingly close to a playoff spot. So exciting to see. I'm excited to see Arthur Banks sat on the sideline during a playoff loss. So it's going to be exciting. I hope
Stay
off
the sideline, Arthur. Stay off of there, man. You're fucking
just stay in the press box. Stay in the press box. Don't smile. Keep that mustache looking good. And just,
go Falcons. I don't know. They don't have a sweet who dat or anything, do they? I don't know what their thing is.
Go Dogs. Go Dogs.
Go Dogs. Go Dogs.
Speaking of going nowhere, let's talk Jaguars Colts because they're.
Let's go ahead and pick. We're both on the Falcons. Let's see where the coin's at.
Yeah.
Coin's with us. So we're tripled up there. That's a Bitcoin certified bet of the week right there. Double down on that. That's a bet of the week brought to you by Bitcoin. Bitcoin, welcome as a sponsor on the pod anytime.
That's funny. All right. Anyways, Jaguars Colts. So we're talking about Jaguars. Jaguars are going down the toilet bowl, and the Colts. It looks like they're climbing out of the toilet bowl. The Colts are coming in hot. They've won the last 3. It looks like Jaguars have lost their last 3. So, lost their last 2. So I'm expecting that this is going to be an absolute shit show. Nonetheless, I think Andrew Luck coming in. He's finally playing with his ligaments. Those rubber bands are looking solid, looking good. Blake Bortles, he's going to get benched again. I think the Colts are going to kick the shit out of the Jaguars.
I'm with you on that. So Colts are 2.5-point favorites at home. Over-under is 46.5. I'm with the Colts here all day as well. The defense is looking better. They're going to be able to stop everything the Jaguars have to throw at them. Leonard Fournette, hey, that was a great pick, right? Why not get a beefy running back with tight fucking connective tissue, number 4 in the draft? How could that backfire on you? Oh, wait, I think I've played as many games this year as Leonard Fournette has. So I mean, I'm not making the same paycheck, but I've contributed just as much to the Jaguars organization as he has. He's not going to be in the lineup this week. I don't know if he'll even be back this year because of a fucking hamstring injury. That's disgraceful. Learn
Yeah,
how
but
to
you know
tough it
what?
out, man.
That AFC South is getting so competitive, though. They're getting so competitive that I think some of these players are like, you know what? Fuck it. I'll just save myself and sign a new contract in like 2 years. I'm not going to get hurt.
Not going to get hurt. You don't want to get hurt. And, the Colts are on the up and up. The Jaguars are on the downslide. I had a sergeant major one time. He was making a joke. He's like, hey, he's like, hey, you get married, right? When you get married, he's like, first year you're fucking like bunnies, man. And he's like, then eventually you get to that point where you're having hallway sex. And he kind of lets it linger. And someone's like, what's hallway sex? He's like, you're passing in the hallway, she's passing in the hallway, and you're like, fuck you. She's like, fuck you too. Right? So he's like, you get to that point where all you're having is the hallway sex. And that's what's going on with the Jaguars within their organization. The honeymoon's over, and Jalen Ramsey's losing his mind because his quarterback is Blake Bortles. I'm on the Colts all day. You're on the Colts all day. Coin where you at? Hey, Coin's with the Jaguars. He's that sort of contrarian. So this is what is this? What is that other Bitcoin, fake Bitcoin?
Ethereum.
This is Ethereum certified right here. You want to put your money on the Colts. Moving into the afternoon slate of games.
Just one final note to the night walkers out there that hang out by the railroad track in downtown Indianapolis. Be careful out there, okay?
Careful.
You feel. Please be careful. Watch out for yourselves. When in doubt, just dial 911 and run because it's not worth it. That red-faced goblin pulls up in that stretch limo. You just keep on walking.
Yeah, he's gonna crush you up in a gigantic mortar and pestle and then snort you up his nose because he can't get high off heroin anymore. He gets high off of hooker blood. That's old Jim, a red-faced goblin of Indianapolis. Moving on to the other red-faced goblins, the red face of John Gruden as he rages on the sideline. While I saw Phillip Rivers giving an inspirational speech to NC State. So they're playing right now as well. That kicked off about 4:00 Best Coast time. And he was in there and he was talking about, it was one of those classic motivational speeches. So Phillip Rivers played at NC State and he's like, he got in there and at the end of this 2-minute clip, he fucking wanted to go play football. He's like, God damn, I wish I could come out here and play for you guys. Like right now, and he's calling out their
awesome.
He's calling out their
awesome.
defense. He's like, you defense, I'd fuck you guys up. I'd be working you over, man. Like, let's do this. I was like, damn, he got me wanting to play for NC State. Maybe I'll do one of those things where they have there's that old movie Necessary Roughness with Scott Bakula and Sinbad and a couple other people where they get a bunch of 40-year-old dudes to go play. Basically, for whatever colleges that the Waterboy played against, they're on the other side of the film, like these other like really small schools. And they get a bunch of old guys to come back. They got, you got your year of eligibility left because you got injured or something like that. Mm-hmm. So I never played college football, so I wonder if I've got any eligibility left. If I did, I would only be willing to be the backup punter, not the regular punter, but the backup punter would be the only. I'm a punt, pass, and kick champion. Got the trophy, but other than that, I have no credentials. But I feel like I could, maybe be a backup punter at some point. If I really dedicated myself.
Maybe like a backup punter to like a D2 like small like state college or something.
Yeah, and then maybe I don't know. There's not a lot you can do to get on the news as a punter that's good. I would never want anyone to really know about that. It's like being a guard.
You can go to like a Garth Brooks concert and start yelling the N-word. You do
yeah,
that.
There you go.
Or get on ESPN real fast.
Yeah. Pima Community College punter Bobby Fever has been suspended for going full, what was that guy's name? Riley Cooper, for going full Riley Cooper at Garth Brooks concert. I think there's actually a Brad Paisley concert, if we're going to be historically accurate. It definitely wasn't a Darius Rucker concert, I'll tell you that, because Riley Cooper does not like Darius Rucker. You know
why? Because
he doesn't like Hootie and the Blowfish. He doesn't like crossovers. He doesn't like crossover bands. So he likes pure country.
Because racism.
Yeah,
But
he likes very pure country, is what Riley Cooper likes. It's
so
not
going
about
back,
racism. It's about pride. It's
it's about
about pride.
history.
It's
It's
about
about
history.
history. What are we talking about again?
Yeah, I'm talking about Chargers at the Raiders. Chargers 10-point favorites on the road. Over under is 50. This train wreck's gonna keep rolling. I'll take Phil Rivers got me fired the fuck up. I'll take you, Phil, and the 10 points.
I'll never forget I forget who he beat. He might have beat like the Patriots, yeah, on like a Monday night football game, and he was no, I'm sorry, he beat the Broncos like Monday night, kicked the shit out of Peyton Manning, and he went on to like the field afterwards, and he's at the round table, like Mike Strahan is there, everybody's laughing. I think like T.O.'s there. I forget who. He's got his bolo tie on. I'm waiting. I'm waiting for the return of the bolo tie. So Philip Rivers, if you're out there, please win that game. You guys are gonna kick the shit out of the Raiders. Um, they're going to take it. They're even going to fuck up that spread too. I'm going to take the Chargers all day.
We're both on the Chargers. Coin, he loves great haircuts and red faces, so he's rooting for the Raiders. And you're going to take 10 points with them. Other game in the Sunday afternoon. So this is technically one of the prime time Sunday afternoon games.
Gross.
Packers are 10-point favorites at home against the Dolphins. Over under is 47.5. I think it's still the Brock Lobster. I don't know. It doesn't really matter.
It is.
I mean, so still the Brock Lobster heading in. Packers trying to get back to even 4-1 if they can take this one. Mike McCarthy, there was a really great Bill Belichick mic'd up. So they had Bill Belichick mic'd up for that Sunday night game against the Packers.
Are you talking when he yells at the refs? And then he goes to yell at, call a timeout, and he doesn't, and he gets in the ref's face about it. Is that what you're talking about?
There's a whole bunch of it. It was classic Belichick. So I love Bill Belichick. I can't get enough of him. I'm not a huge Patriots fan, but I root for him just because I like Belichick. And you see kind of the genius of it all, and then you see why, people respect him and the nuance of everything. Obviously, they don't give you all the gory details, but there was a great, like you said, great stuff with him talking shit on the refs. And then, and then they did another one of those. I can't get enough of Bill Belichick touchdown montages where he doesn't blink or give a shit, or he acts like he's watching paint dry. Like, he never gets excited about anything that happens with the offense. He's a defensive guy through and through. And in that, when they score touchdowns, he doesn't react. He doesn't give a shit. He called Tommy out on who are you, and that Josh Gordon throw. He's like, who are you throwing that to? He's like, who are you actually throwing that to? And then on the defense, he'd get in there with those defensive guys, and you see him come back. You see him come to life. He's like, the pass rush is fucking killing him. It's like, you're doing great. It's like, this is great. This is great. Like, fucking keep it up. And then at the end of
watch
it,
those players, man, how they look at him. It's like there's so much respect. It's like Saquon Barkley looking at AD. So much respect is given to this guy for I don't know, it's really cool to watch. Yeah,
respect that he's earned. And then talking about respect at the end of the game, he goes up to Rodgers.
Oh yeah.
And it's a real quick thing, but he's like, hey, you're the best, man. And Bill Belichick just says that shit. But Aaron Rodgers says the same thing to him, but it's different. When you got Tommy, people are like, oh man, you shouldn't say that when he's got Tommy. But Bill Belichick just says that to people. But when Aaron Rodgers said it, it was like you're the best. And he was like lusting after somebody else's. He was breaking Bible covenants there because he was definitely coveting. He was absolutely coveting Bill Belichick.
It's like that scene from Get Out where the one guy he snaps back into reality, and if you haven't seen Get Out, those black people are getting taken advantage by rich white people, and they're getting their bodies taken over. And he looks at him and he says, get out, and he grabs him. As kind of a similar moment where Aaron Rodgers is looking at him like, help me, like begging for freedom. But it's just cool to watch, man. I love those mic'd up things. Those are always great. But,
those are always fantastic. Yeah. I'm gonna actually, I'm gonna go with the Brock Lobster here to keep this thing close, keep it within 10. I'll take the Dolphins with the 10 points.
That's insanity because Brock Osweiler is still the quarterback, and I really do think that the Packers are going to be able to fix this. There's no fucking way. No way the Dolphins are going to come on top. I'm going to take the Packers.
So we're split here. The coin, he's with me. He's a Brock Lobster fan. Seahawks at the Rams. Over-under is 50.5. Rams 9.5-point favorites at home. The Rams don't really have a true home field advantage. There'll probably be a lot of Seahawks fans at the game. But, Russell Wilson, he let me down last week. I won't forget that. Jared Goff and the Rams coming off their first loss of the season. Todd Gurley, leading candidate for NFL Offensive Player of the Year. He's on pace for about 1,500 yards rushing and 20-plus TDs. I like the Rams to win this thing, but 9.5 is a big nut to lay. If I'm betting my money on this, I've got to put it on the Seahawks.
They still have Aaron Donald, and a lot of the Seahawks, success comes to running, running plays and stuff, and they don't have that this year. They just don't. I know Russell Wilson tries to do these weird 3rd and 10, he'll maybe skedaddle a little bit and get for the first down, but they still have Aaron Donald, and I think the Rams are going to absolutely stop their offense, and they're going to get the shit kicked out of them. I'm going to take the Rams here.
You got the Rams. I got the Seahawks. Coin's with you. He's a Goff fan. He's believing. We're going to skip the Sunday night game, come back to that, just so we can cruise through the Monday night game. Giants 1-7, 49ers 2-7, over-unders 44, -3.5 for the Niners at home. We don't know if it's going to be Beathard or that other dude. I'm not even going to bother looking at what his name was. The dude that played the other day surprisingly well. Probably going to be that guy. I don't really care. Manning, Barkley, Beckham. Sounds good on paper until you realize that Eli Manning is so fucking washed that it doesn't matter. You'd rather have C.J. Beathard than Eli Manning. At least I would. I'll take the Niners to protect the home field.
Who do you want? Do you want Trump or Hillary, herpes or genital warts, Mind of Mencia or another shitty Comedy Central show? It doesn't matter. I don't care. I'm going to take the Niners just because the Giants imploding is pretty funny. So I'll take the Giants. Or I'll take the Niners.
I'm not so much rooting for the Niners as I am against the Giants. Love seeing a good train wreck. All right, that's Bitcoin certified. All three of us on the Niners. We're going to finish up with the Cowboys at the Eagles. Cowboys had a rough Monday night. They're coming off a short week. Eagles coming off a bye. This all lines up for an ass whooping for the Cowboys. Philly, they're going to be rocking. They're going to be drunk as hell. Those fans are going to be drunk by the time this game rolls around at 8 o'clock on the East Coast. Dak Prescott, you're a pretender. I don't want you anywhere near my football team. If I'm a head coach, if I'm a GM, Jerry Jones came out and said they were going to give him an extension. That's ludicrous speed. That is absolutely ludicrous speed. Wentz versus Prescott. That's a no-brainer. Give me the Eagles all night long.
How can you stand, after you watch Dak Prescott play, how can you sit there and say those words? Why can't you just be like, hey, maybe we'll give him an extension, but, I really don't know enough to opinionate. Why can't you just say that? Why do you have to say absurd shit? So, yeah, no, Dak Prescott's garbage. I'm giving him the shovel. Maybe we gave him a shovel last week, but it's over. Just put a bullet in the back and let us proceed forward with our lives.
I'm a father. Hey, this is on you, man. This is not on me. All right, quit your whining. Quit your whining. Start your digging, Cowboys fans, because we're about to back the truck up on your ass. Give it a light pat, light a cigarette. We're not leaving any of these cigarette butts at the scene, though. All right, we got to watch out for that. They can pull our DNA off of that. If anyone ever finds that body, they're gonna tie 2 and 2 together. So make sure we do a cigarette butt count before we leave, and then we're hopping in the truck, getting the fuck out of there. We're both on the Eagles. Coin, hey, he's with us. Bitcoin certified to have a great Sunday night if you're putting your money on the Eagles. Poker Guy, closing thoughts here for Week 10?
No, I'm just watching the game right now. It looks like the Steelers are just kicking the shit out of the Panthers. So, like I said, Panthers are going to come up 6-3, which is perfect for your wonderful Falcons coming up 5-3.
Awesome. Can't wait for it. Going to be a great week of action. Everyone come see us here Sunday night. We'll recap Week 10 in the NFL.
Peace, dude.